President Obama has promised and delivered a no red tape strategy. The enormity of the damage has left our families struggling for basic human needs, from food to water to heat. Lives have been shattered. Homes have been destroyed. Businesses are in rubble. Too many seniors tonight are cold, alone, worried, and afraid to leave their homes. The damage has been absolutely devastating to see. And the concern for those we have not seen is growing deeper every single day. The heartbreak, the despair, the sadness that I've seen in so many communities cuts very deep to the bone. But I've also seen something else. I've seen the very best of New York. New Yorkers, as you know, we are resilient. We bend, but we do not break. When we get knocked down, we get right back up again. We saw this after 9/11. We saw it again in upstate after the aftermath of Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee. And as we speak, thousands and thousands of neighbors are coming together. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Going door to door, helping the homebound, donating resources, volunteering their time, cleaning the debris, because it's who we are. The outpouring of New Yorkers coming together reaffirms and deepens my very core commitment to fighting for your family as hard as I do for my own. And it brings me great hope for our future, because we are bound by something much more powerful than any storm. And while the road will be long and the road will be hard, we will rebuild better and stronger. And I will stand with you every single step of the way. So just a few stories of what I've seen. When I was in the Rockaways a few days ago, you can't imagine the devastation that those families are facing. I ran into women who were crying because they didn't know how to save the seniors in different apartment buildings who hadn't left their home and had no heat. But two women rallied, and they created almost instantly a square where people could come and donate food and clothing, and they were in the midst of distributing hundreds and hundreds of donations to their community members. When I was on Staten Island, I saw a boat that was in the middle of a restaurant that had floated there from a nearby marina. But when I talked to the owner of the restaurant, he simply said, "We will rebuild it, and we will rebuild it better." And we decided we're going to have dinner there 1 year from that day. Westchester, same story. I met with a woman business owner whose business was absolutely destroyed. And she said, "You know, I plan to rebuild because this is our community. This is my home." That's what New Yorkers are doing. That is how they are facing down the damage of this storm. Because New Yorkers fundamentally know one thing. They believe that we are all in this together. They roll up their sleeves and they get to work. And that's what we need more of from Washington, so that we can deliver for our families from Buffalo to Montauk, so that they can have the opportunities they need for their children to grow. Make no mistake, there is very hard work ahead of us beyond our commitment to rebuild from this disaster. Washington has become broken, but if we can come together around these core common values, our manufacturing companies in Albany and Rochester and Buffalo and Syracuse will be incentivized to stamp "Made in America" on those products that we will sell all around the world. And make no mistake, if we can beat Russia in the race to the moon, we can beat China in the race for clean energy. We do need to come together as a nation. We need to recognize the marriages of all loving couples, the same as we recognize mine. Whether they live in a state like New York that already has approved gay marriage, or whether it's for a state that is on their path to approving marriage equality for all. We also have to come together to help our seniors. We have to strengthen, not weaken, Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. We have to come together around our veterans so when they come back from Iraq and Afghanistan, they have a chance for a job and to provide for their families. We can come together and pass comprehensive immigration reform because we know that our unique diversity and our immigrant heritage is what makes us so strong. And we can certainly come together so that every woman and every girl in our country can achieve her God-given potential and make sure we have equal pay for equal work in this country. It means making sure there are as many female executives as female assistants. It means making sure we have 50% of women in Congress. And it certainly means that women's voices will be heard in this election. Now, I do want to commend my opponent, Wendy Long, for running this race and helping make history, because it's the first campaign ever in our state where 2 women were running for the U.S. Senate. We need to make sure this is not an exception, but becomes the rule. I just want to close by thanking some people that make such a difference. I want to thank my campaign staff, Sean Gavin, who won the race. I want to thank the men and women who serve in my Senate office. I can't tell you how amazing they've been this last week. They've rolled up their sleeves, they collected food and clothing and batteries and cleaning supplies and blankets. They brought them to the Rockaways, they brought them to Staten Island. I had one staff member who went to the grocery store, bought groceries for a woman, bought her new clothes because she told me she was about ready to die. He delivered those goods the next day because he could not stand her being without. That is what my staff has done in this last week. That is what they've done the last 4 years, and I want to thank them for working so hard. Now, last but most certainly not least, I want to thank my family. They're all here. Thank you so much for such a loving family. My parents, my brother, my sister, everyone. And I especially want to thank my husband, Jonathan, who has been such an amazing friend, husband, and supporter in every way he possibly can. And to little Henry Gillibrand, who's asleep, it's not past his bedtime. Henry and Theodore, my 2 sons, they are such loving children and support their mommy in every way. Last, I want to thank you, my supporters, New York, for asking me to serve again for 6 years. I can't thank you enough for your vote, for your confidence, and for your willingness to allow me to serve this great state for a 6-year term. Thank you all, New York, and God bless you, and let's make sure President Obama wins!